I've always been a daddy's girl. Growing up, it was just me and my father, Jackson, after my mother passed away when I was 5. I can still recall the warmth of his embrace on those cold nights when the absence of my mother felt the heaviest. He was both my caregiver and my confidant, always ready to lend an ear or a shoulder to cry on. I had never known a love quite like the one we shared, unique in its intimacy and depth. Jackson worked long hours to provide for us, but he managed to balance his demanding job with being an incredible father. We shared countless laughs and had deep conversations that only brought us closer. As I stood in his living room on Valentine's Day, I found myself contemplating the complexity of our relationship, hoping we could explore it in an entirely new way. Amid the decorations of hearts and flowers, I felt a rush of emotion wash over me, accompanied by the realization that my feelings for him had evolved into something deeper. For weeks, I had thought about this moment. The day I turned 18 was a turning point. It awakened feelings within me that I had tried to dismiss for so long. I understood the complexities and potential societal perceptions of these feelings, but the depth of my affection for him was undeniable. What I felt was more than just the love a daughter has for her father, it was a romantic longing that beckoned for expression. As if to signal the beginning of a new chapter, I spent hours preparing. I indulged in the nourishing ritual of self-care, showering, moisturizing, and applying my favorite perfume. I chose a stunning red dress that hugged my curves, ending just above my knees, a symbol of my femininity. I adorned myself with delicate jewelry, feeling transformatively beautiful. I wanted him to see me not merely as his little girl but as a woman ready to unveil a deeper connection. When I finally stepped into the living room, Jackson looked up from his book, his eyes widening in surprise as he took me in. "Leah, you look breathtaking," he managed to say, his voice slightly catching as he absorbed my appearance. I could tell he was taken aback but in a way that stirred something hopeful within me. "Thank you, Daddy." "Happy Valentine's Day," I replied, my heart fluttering as I approached him, keenly aware of the weight of this moment. He stood up, his gaze locking with mine, filling the space between us with unspoken understanding. "It certainly is now," he murmured, his eyes momentarily drifting to my attire before meeting my gaze again, as if trying to read my thoughts. Taking a deep breath, I gathered the courage to voice what had been on my mind. "Daddy, there's something important I need to tell you," I began, my heart racing in my chest. "I've realized that my feelings for you have changed. I love you not just as my father, but as a man. I want to explore this connection we share together." His eyes widened, a mix of surprise and contemplation playing across his face. "Leah, we can't. It's complicated," he replied gently, his words layered with tenderness as his hands instinctively found their way to my hips, drawing me closer, almost as if he were silently battling between desire and reason. I leaned in slightly and could feel the heat radiating from his body. "But it feels right to me," I whispered, tilting my head to meet his lips in a soft, tentative kiss. It held the promise of everything I longed for, a depth of emotion that transcended the conventional boundaries of father-daughter roles. For a moment, he hesitated, feeling the weight of my words before surrendering to the kiss, deepening it as he cradled my face in his hands. The kiss felt electric, it ignited something within me that had lain dormant for far too long. I pressed my body against his, savoring both the sweetness and the fervor of our connection. "Leah," he gasped, breaking the kiss and searching my eyes for reassurance. "Are you truly certain about this? Once we take this step, we may not be able to turn back." With a warm smile, I trailed my fingers delicately along his chest, relishing the familiar warmth. "I've never been more certain of anything in my life," I replied earnestly, gazing deeply into his eyes. I could see the flicker of understanding there, and it encouraged me to lean further into this moment. In a passionate surge, he pulled me closer, capturing my lips again in a fervent kiss. This time, our lips moved in sync, each caress igniting a craving that brought everything into sharper focus. The rhythm of our movements felt natural, as though we had both been waiting for this moment, longing to express our feelings in a way we had never dared before. As Jackson's warm hands glided over my back, I could feel his heart racing against mine, a symphony of emotions playing out between us. His hands traveled downward, exploring the curves of my waist, igniting every nerve ending in my body. It was as though each touch bore the weight of all the love and affection we had shared over the years, now transformed into a deeper yearning. "Leah, this moment is everything I've wanted," he whispered, his eyes darkened with desire and longing. "But it feels so different, so risky. I just want to make sure you're ready for what this means." "Daddy, I am ready," I said softly, brushing my fingers against his cheek and locking my gaze with his. "I've thought about this deeply, and I want to share this part of myself with you, the best part of me. I want us to be more than what the world expects." With a deep breath, Jackson nodded, and I could see his internal battle shifting. As if the last pieces of hesitance had fallen away, he leaned in closer again, capturing my lips in a kiss that was both tender and passionate. The moment felt pivotal, and I sensed a shift in the atmosphere around us as we fully embraced this new chapter. He pulled me even closer, our bodies pressed tightly together as if trying to become one. The warmth radiating from him enveloped me in comfort and assurance. I reveled in the moment, lost in the electricity that surged between us, a delicate balance of desire and affection. Suddenly, he swept me into his arms and carried me toward his bedroom, a sense of determination evident in the way he held me. He laid me gently on the bed, his eyes darkening with an intensity one had never seen before. "You're so breathtaking, Leah. I've fought with myself for so long, trying to ignore how I feel about you, but I can't anymore. I need to show you how much I care." Draped across the soft fabric of the bed, I gazed up at him, my heart swollen with an undeniable connection that felt both exhilarating and terrifying. "Then take me, Daddy," I whispered, urging him to embrace this moment fully. In a dance that embodied both passion and reverence, we began to explore one another, each kiss deepening our connection, every caress igniting suppressed emotions. My heart raced as his hands roamed over my body, tenderly tracing every inch of my skin, awakening a sense of longing that I had never felt before. We became consumed in each other as time lost meaning. The world outside faded away, leaving just the two of us entwined in an embrace that felt authentic and real. I had learned that sometimes love could flourish in the most unexpected places, and this connection felt like a blossoming flower, beautiful and rare. With every whispered word and every grazing touch, we ventured further into uncharted territory, establishing our own rhythm, an intricate dance of intimacy. I could feel the unspoken bond between us grow stronger, nurtured by our shared experiences and deep understanding of one another. As night fell, the room was filled with soft whispers and gentle laughter, a perfect blend of joy and desire. I cherished the way he looked at me, as if I were the most precious thing in his world. It was a perspective that filled me with warmth and created a sense of belonging. We explored every facet of one another, taking our time to savor each moment as we ventured deeper into our feelings. Eventually, we found ourselves tangled together in a sea of soft sheets, breathing heavily, hearts racing in sync. I looked into Jackson's eyes, feeling a mix of vulnerability and an overwhelming sense of love. "Thank you for accepting my feelings, for being open to this," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. He brushed a strand of hair from my face, the tenderness in his gaze melting away any residual hesitation. "Thank you for being brave enough to share your heart with me, Leah. We'll navigate this together, and I won't let anything come between us. What we have is special, and I will protect it." As dawn began to break, filling the room with soft hues of gold and pink, we lay together, discovering a peacefulness that settled over us like a warm blanket. The uncertainty of what lay ahead felt manageable in the light of our shared love, a love profound and different from anything I had ever encountered. In that moment, feelings I once struggled to articulate now flowed freely between us. I drifted off to sleep with Jackson's arms wrapped protectively around me, content in the knowledge that we had given ourselves to each other fully. I had offered him my heart, while he gifted me with his unwavering devotion. The reality of our situation intertwined with a beautiful dream, one where love blossomed amidst adversity. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, I awoke to the soft glow of morning light filtering through the curtains. Wrapped in the warmth of Jackson's embrace, I felt an overwhelming sense of serenity wash over me. This was a new beginning, a morning filled with possibilities and the promise of exploring our bond even further. I glanced up at him, his face relaxed and peaceful in slumber, and my heart swelled with affection. It was hard to believe that the night before had not been a dream. The weight of my feelings had been lifted, replaced by a sense of freedom and acceptance. I carefully shifted to lie on my side, propping myself up on one elbow to watch him. Even in sleep, Jackson radiated strength and comfort, two qualities that had always drawn me to him. Finally, he stirred, his eyes fluttering open to meet my gaze. A smile spread across his face as he took in the sight of me. "Good morning, beautiful," he murmured, his voice still thick with sleep. "Good morning, Daddy," I replied, a shy smile dancing on my lips. He brushed his fingers along my cheek, sending a gentle shiver through me, reminding me of the depth of our connection. "Last night was incredible," he continued, his voice filled with warmth and sincerity. "I've never felt so alive or so connected to someone." "I feel the same way," I said, my heart racing at the intimacy of our conversation. "It feels like we've crossed a threshold into something really special." "It truly does," he agreed, his expression softening. "But we have to be careful. The world can be unforgiving, and I want to protect what we have at all costs." His words resonated deeply within me, and I nodded in understanding. "I know," I replied. "But I also believe in what we have. What we share is unique and worth fighting for." Jackson smiled, clearly touched by my conviction. "You're right. As long as we're honest with each other and protect our hearts, we can navigate whatever challenges arise." With that, we shared a tender kiss, sealing our pact of understanding and commitment. With the sun pouring in around us, it felt as if we were in our own little world, a sanctuary exclusive to just the two of us. Eventually, we got out of bed, and I made us coffee while Jackson toasted some bread. I watched as he moved about the kitchen, his presence strong and comforting. It was surreal to think that only a few months ago, this sort of intimacy had seemed impossible, yet it felt so right now. Sipping my coffee, I found myself lost in thought. The challenges we might face loomed in the back of my mind, reminding me of societal expectations. But I brushed those thoughts away, focusing instead on the joy of this newfound connection. After breakfast, we retreated to the living room, where we cuddled on the couch, our bodies intertwined, as we watched the news. Jackson held my hand, absent-mindedly tracing patterns on my skin, and I reveled in the simple pleasure of being near him. The world outside felt distant and irrelevant compared to the warmth of his touch. As the morning slipped into afternoon, I found myself reflecting on our relationship and its complexities. "Jackson, do you think we should tell anyone about us?" I asked, curiosity piqued. He paused, contemplating my question for a moment. "I want to be open with the world, but we have to be smart about it. The judgment we might face could be severe, but I don't want to hide who we are either. It's a delicate balance." "Yeah," I said, biting my lip. "I just want us to be able to enjoy this without worrying about what others think. It's just so hard to conceal something that feels so right." He nodded, understanding written across his face. "We'll make a plan. The important thing is that we have each other's support." As the hours passed, our conversations shifted from the serious to the playful. We joked and bantered, sharing stories and laughter as we encouraged each other to let go of any lingering fears. It felt liberating to simply enjoy each other's company and share the experience of being together. As the evening approached, Jackson suggested we take a walk around the neighborhood. I eagerly agreed, the idea of spending more time with him under the open sky filling me with excitement. We strolled hand in hand, the cool air refreshing as we wandered down familiar streets that had been part of my childhood. With Jackson by my side, everything felt different, infused with the love that had bloomed between us. We talked about our dreams, our aspirations, and even our fears. In that moment, it felt like we were truly becoming partners in every sense of the word. "Do you think we can really make this work?" Jackson asked as we paused at a park bench, the setting sun casting warm hues around us. He looked deeply into my eyes, and I could see the weight of his concerns mirrored in my own expression. "I believe we can," I replied confidently, squeezing his hand. "It's going to take effort, and there will be challenges, but our love is worth it. It's genuine and special, and that's what matters." He nodded slowly, considering my words. "You're right. This is new territory for both of us, but I think that's what makes it exciting too. It's like we're writing our own story, one page at a time." Feeling inspired, I rested my head against his shoulder, allowing the quiet comfort of the moment to envelop me. I can't wait to see where this journey takes us, I murmured, feeling grateful for the connection we had forged. As we sat there, reminiscing and planning, I began to think about how our relationship might evolve. The initial thrill of our intimacy was intoxicating, but I also craved the stability and support of a true partnership. I could envision us navigating life's ups and downs together, sharing both the joys and challenges that lay ahead. After a while, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves above us, almost as if nature itself was celebrating our love. We decided to take a longer walk, exploring the park as the sky shifted to deeper shades of twilight. As we walked, our fingers intertwined, I felt a rush of serenity wash over me. My heart was full, and I couldn't help but steal glances at Jackson, his features highlighted by the soft glow of streetlights. He looked content, even at peace, and that sight made my heart swell with affection. I love this, I said, breaking the silence. Just being out here with you, enjoying the moment together. Me too, he replied, flashing a genuine smile. It reminds me that despite everything, we can find beauty in the simple things. I never want to take this for granted. With that proclamation, I felt a sense of resolution settle over me. No matter the obstacles we might face, I was determined to embrace every moment with him, to treasure the adventures and the mundane alike, because it was ours. As we rounded the corner toward our neighborhood, the stars began to twinkle above us, one by one, dotting the night sky. I paused, gazing up in awe at the vastness above, feeling an unexplainable sense of hope. In that moment, everything felt perfect. I looked deep into his eyes, reading the honesty and sincerity reflected back at me. This was more than a fleeting passion, this was a foundation upon which we could build our dreams. We resumed our walk, the comfortable silence punctuated by the sounds of the night. As we neared home, I felt an overwhelming urge to express my gratitude for the love that had blossomed between us. Thank you for being so understanding and accepting of my feelings. I never thought I could share this part of my heart with someone, especially not you. He stopped in front of our house and looked down at me, sincerity shining in his gaze. You don't have to thank me, Leah. Just being able to love you the way you deserve is already more than I could have imagined. I've been drawn to you for so long, and not just as my daughter. I want to be the partner you deserve in every sense. My heart soared at his words, and I pulled him in for a gentle yet passionate kiss that reflected all the love coursing between us. As our lips met, I could feel all the promises and dreams we had shared, coalescing into a single, beautiful moment that would linger in my memory forever. After a while, we broke apart slightly, still holding each other close. What now? I asked, my curiosity piqued. How do we move forward? For now, let's focus on us, he said thoughtfully, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear. We'll take it one step at a time. For now, let's focus on us, he said thoughtfully, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear. We'll take it one step at a time and embrace the journey together. I don't want to rush things, I want to savor every moment we have. I nodded, feeling a wave of warmth spread through me at his words. That sounds perfect. Let's allow our relationship to unfold naturally. We can create a strong foundation together, built on love, trust, and understanding. We both knew that the path wouldn't always be easy. There would be challenges to face and judgments to endure, but in that moment, it felt as if the world outside our little bubble was inconsequential. The love we shared was a treasure, one that was worth protecting at all costs. As we stepped inside the house, the familiar comfort of our home enveloped us. We shared laughter and light conversation, relishing the ease of spending time together. With every passing minute, my heart swelled with the realization that everything I had hoped for was finally coming to fruition. Later that evening, we settled on the couch, immersed in a gentle conversation about our dreams for the future. Jackson shared his aspirations and goals while I divulged my ambitions, feeling the bond between us strengthen. It was beautiful, this sense of partnership and support, and I couldn't help but imagine the possibilities ahead. Do you think we'll ever feel normal? I asked, curiosity tinged with a hint of vulnerability. Like, beyond all of this? Jackson smiled softly, his eyes gleaming with understanding. I think we'll create our own version of normal. A normal that reflects our love, something authentic and meaningful, free from the confines of societal expectations. His words resonated with me deeply, and I realized that it was true. Our connection was unlike anything I had ever experienced, and while it came with its own complexities, it felt genuine. Together, we could carve a space where our love could thrive, untouched by the outside world. As the night wore on, we shared our hopes, our fears, and everything in between. We spoke of traveling together, building a life filled with joy and wonder, and nurturing the bond we were forging. I had never felt more alive, more in tune with myself and my desires, and I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for having him in my life. When we finally settled into the night, he held me close, my head resting against his chest as we drifted off to a peaceful sleep, lulled by the soft rhythm of his heartbeat. I knew the journey ahead would be challenging, but I also knew that we had an unbreakable bond that would guide us through. In the days and weeks that followed, we embraced our relationship wholeheartedly. We took the time to learn about each other and discover the little things that made us smile. Our love blossomed like a flower, vibrant and full of life, shading our world with its beauty. Though whispers might arise and judgment lurked in the shadows, we stood strong together, unwavering in our commitment to one another. We created cherished memories, quiet dinners, playful outings, and intimate moments that solidified our partnership. In the picturesque embrace of our love, I realized that we didn't need the world's approval, we only needed to be true to ourselves and to each other. This was our story, our journey, and it was worth every effort we could invest to nurture it. As we lay tangled in each other's arms night after night, I often pondered the irony of our love. It was born from loss and loneliness but had transformed into something profound and meaningful. Our connection had become a sanctuary, a haven where we were not just father and daughter but two souls intertwined, each enriching the other's life. Together, we were writing a story filled with passion, tenderness, and above all, an unwavering bond of love. I smiled, knowing we had embarked on a beautiful adventure. One that transcended the ordinary, forever changing us in ways we were just beginning to understand. And in that realization, a profound sense of hope blossomed within me, for our love was more than just what the eyes could see, it was a journey of the heart, a testament to the resilience of love itself.